99% of people aren't working hard to succeed. They're working hard because they're terrified of being left behind. You see someone post about their promotion. Another friend just launched a startup. Someone else is on vacation in Greece again. And you? You suddenly feel like you're behind. So you panic. You force yourself to hustle, to prove you're not a failure. But what if your effort isn't about dreams at all? What if it's just about fear? This video isn't about motivation. It's about truth. The raw, uncomfortable truth that most of our so-called drive is actually fear in disguise. What if you're not chasing your dreams, but running from shame? Most people aren't working towards a goal they love. They're working to avoid the guilt of doing nothing. According to self-worth theory in psychology, many people tie their value to their achievements. So when we don't achieve, we feel worthless. Ever find yourself avoiding a task until the last second? That's called self-handicapping. It's your brain protecting itself. If you fail, you can blame the delay. If you succeed, you're a hero for pulling it off last minute. The truth? You're not lazy. You're scared. The scroll isn't harmless. It's psychological warfare. Every time you scroll, you're bombarded with highlight reels. The success, the bodies, the relationships, the achievements. It's not that you want their life. You just start hating yours. Research shows that constant comparison leads to anxiety, low self-esteem, and an overwhelming fear of falling behind. Suddenly, you're not working from inspiration. You're working from desperation. And worst of all, you're not even aware of it. What if you're not afraid of failure but success? Sounds crazy, right? But think about it. Success raises expectations. It puts you in the spotlight. It creates pressure to keep performing. And deep down, many of us feel like imposters. Imposter syndrome makes us believe we're one mistake away from being exposed. So instead of rising, we sabotage. We stay almost successful because it's safer than proving we never deserved it in the first place. You're not chasing perfection. You're avoiding judgment. Perfectionism isn't a flex. It's a shield. A way to prevent criticism by making sure there's nothing to criticize. But guess what? Perfection is a moving target. The more you try to be flawless, the more broken you feel. We live in a culture that shames failure and glorifies performance. So we overwork, overthink, and overcompensate. And slowly we lose ourselves. Would you still work this hard if no one was watching? There's a huge difference between doing something because you love it and doing it to prove something. Intrinsic motivation is driven by curiosity, passion, and joy. Extrinsic motivation is driven by pressure, guilt, or fear. When you're intrinsically motivated, failure doesn't define you. It's part of the journey. But when you're driven by fear, every misstep feels like exposure. Every break feels like weakness. This is why burnout is so common. Because the tank you're running on isn't joy, it's survival. You don't have to prove you're enough. You already are. So how do we change? Recognize the fear. Are you doing this out of love or out of fear of being judged? Redefine success. Not as how much you do, but how true you are to yourself. Practice self-compassion. You're not a machine. You're a human. It's okay to rest. Detach from the feed. Social media isn't reality. It's a curated illusion. Most importantly, remind yourself daily, you don't need to earn your worth. You already have it. You were never lazy. You were never behind. You were just trying to keep up in a world that profits off your insecurity. But here's the truth. The most powerful thing you can do is stop running. Stop trying to prove you're enough. Start building a life that feels like yours. Because real success isn't about beating others. It's about finally being at peace with yourself. Drop a comment if this hit you deep. And remember, you're not alone. Not ever.